Hello everyone, I'm Ishani and I'm honored to be a guest for Crafty Meraki's Harmony release, and we're celebrating this release with an incredible inspiration video hop. So don't forget to check out all the other designers and participate in the giveaway form by entering into the raffle copter, which is mentioned in the description below. I'm going to focus on one of the beautiful cover plates in this release called Wholeheartedly Paradise. And I'm going to use this die to create some beautiful cards using various techniques that you can incorporate on your cards. I believe in getting most out of our supplies. Even though we associate heart with Valentine's Day, I'm going to use this die and make different occasion cards and give you ideas to stretch your dies in similar way. Let's hop in and see what we can do with the Wholeheartedly Paradise. I will start with a colorful card. This is a great way to utilize your scraps, and here I have taken some scraps and I try to get the colors of a rainbow, and I'm going to die cut two of the papers in one pass because I don't need the whole sheet of hearts for one single color. I need around 10 hearts of each color, so I go ahead and die cut all these papers and one negative of a white colored cardstock, which will be my panel for inlaid die cutting technique. One of the most convenient ways to do your inlaid die cutting is by using double-sided adhesive sheets. So here I have taken a piece of double-sided adhesive sheet which is just the size of my Wholeheartedly Paradise panel. I peel off one of the sides and attach it on the back of my A2 size die cut panel. Now on the inner side of the hearts, it will be sticky. And now we can go and sit and relax and go ahead and adhere all our little hearts in rainbow order. But I also wanted to switch up with how I adhere my rainbow colors. I did not want the vertical lines, and I realized that diagonal hearts will look beautiful. So if you are a fan of sorting puzzles, this is a technique for you, very therapeutic. But I'll just speed it up because I have 4 more cards to share with you. The way we are using the rainbow colored cardstock, we can make a masculine card using the colors we consider masculine, and feminine with the feminine colors, and also like a neutral, gender neutral with grays and yellows. Also, it is a way to use your scraps from the gradient cardstocks where you have light to darker colors. I think this will be a great way to use that. We make 2 rows of one color and all the different gradients will fit in perfectly. Next, I take the same sheet that I had taken off and I run it over with my bone folder to make the hearts stick properly onto the sticky sheet. Coming to the sentiment, I have this beautiful Happy Birthday die by Crafty Meraki. This is a perfect size, not very big, not very small. I cut out the shadow with the silver colored cardstock, silver mirror cardstock, and the letters with black cardstock. I adhere all of them together. I add some foam tape behind my sentiment to raise it a little up on my background. And then I adhere my front panel by taking off the sheet onto a top folding white colored cardstock. I just took out this stamp wheel because it gives a proper edge for adhering. You don't need that. You may have your own way to adhere the things correctly. I get a little wonky, so this is my way to make sure that I'm adhering my panel correctly on the top folding panel. And what is a Crafty Meraki card without the sparkles? I am using the Rainbow Sparkles by Crafty Meraki to add a little bling on my card. I think this card looks beautiful. I love those colors. They're not very bright. They're like a little muted. I hope you like this card and will try something on your own. Please do tag me on Instagram or Facebook wherever you share your projects. I would love to see them. For my next cards, it's like easy peasy, and it is because of the EAP. If you do not know about Effortless Artistry paper, then you have to check out Crafty Meraki's EAPs because they make making cards so easy. I know many of us are not a coloring fan or are not great colorists, so that is why these images are so handy. You have the coordinating die set, you die cut your cupcakes and use them on your cards. So for my card, I am going to use a particular cupcake, and this I have thought about because of the color scheme I'm going for my card. So I'm going to first die cut a cupcake. Next I'm going to die cut my white colored panel with the wholeheartedly dies, and along with it I am going to need some red hearts. So I have a red colored cardstock, but I don't want to waste my whole cardstock because I don't need as many hearts. So I will just cut a little part of the cardstock because I don't need many red hearts. If you need more, you can cut more. So here I have my sentiment also die cut. This was also part of the dies and the EAP. And then I'm going to do a white on white background. I adhere my heart panel onto the white colored cardstock, and while applying glue I have made sure I add some in between those little hearts so the cardstock does not come up. Next I'm going to take my time and I'm going to arrange my little red hearts. I have thought of a design where I'm going to put the red heart alternatively, and I'm going to also miss one row so they're like equidistant from each other, and when you look from far it gives a look of how polka dots look. And that's it. This is our background, a very simple background, and with foam tape I adhere my cupcake, and with little glue on the ends of my sentiment I adhere the sentiment on my cupcake. Simple, cute, and so easy. Do you see how less time it took? I think in 3 minutes I finished making this card. I hope you like it. Let's go ahead and make another. For the next card I'm using this very cute crazy cupid love stamp. I also wanted to incorporate a card where I'm stamping and coloring because EAP gives you such easy options that sometimes the stamps get neglected. I am assuming that you have many stamps that you can also use for the background that I'm making. This die gives a beautiful background, so this is what we are focusing on. You can put any stamp, any colored image over your background. I'm using this cute little angel cupid, and also I'll stamp one more for my card, and I'll do some quick coloring now. And also as I color, I want to remind you to not forget to subscribe me and like this video, and I hope you will check out my other videos on my channel because I love to stretch my supplies and I have many ideas where you can learn to get the best out of your supplies. Also, I share more on Instagram and Facebook. I have the links down in the description. I would love for you to check out my work. And in case you want to support me, I would love if you shop through my affiliate links. They are also mentioned below. Thank you. Let's go ahead and now assemble our card and make a very interesting background. So for the background, we are going to use this die as an embossing folder. I have this silicone mat, and you can check how your sandwich will work for your die cutting machine. I have the Sizzix Big Shot, and I'm going to use my last tab. So I want a background where I leave the bottom part and have that area without any die cutting. So when I sandwich, I do not put my upper plate on the last edge, because let me show you, the whole cutting plate has small lines which will cut the paper through. So I cannot have my cutting plate which is on top over it, otherwise it will cut off the paper. Every die cutting machine has a different sandwich that works for embossing. Please check yours, and you can use your silicone mat for giving such beautiful embossed designs. Look at how beautifully the hearts have popped up. For the sentiment, I am going to use Love is in the Air from the same stamp set. I am going to heat emboss it. So before I stamp, I take my very loved anti-static tool sock and add a little powder over the surface so that my embossing powder does not stick anywhere else but the sentiment. Then I take white opaque embossing powder and heat set my sentiment. For assembling my card, I have a top folding white colored card base, and I am adhering my embossed panel with double-sided foam tape, and then add my cute little angels with foam tape again. And to decorate the card, I'm adding little white hearts. One more idea with similar technique can be adding a big cloud underneath the card where we have the sentiment, so depicting as if our angels are floating above the clouds, and above the clouds it's all heart clouds. I hope you like this card. Quick and simple, isn't it? And you're getting more out of your one wholeheartedly die. Let's hop on to another card. So it's not just stamps Crafty Meraki makes, it also makes beautiful layering stencils. So for the next card, I have used the new release Petal Poetry coordinating stamps and stencils. It also has a hot foil plate. If you check out the website, you'll get that as well. I just chose stamping and stenciling in beautiful colors, pinks and teals, and I'm going to incorporate these flowers on my next card. For the next card, I'm going to use a little monochrome background, and I've taken a light pink colored cardstock and I'm going to die cut the wholeheartedly die and make a background of the light pink colored cardstock. Now I have lots of these small little hearts, and I have an idea which will be used for the last cut. So let us save all the little pink hearts, and I've actually saved all the white hearts as well from my previous card. I take a top folding magenta colored cardstock, and now I'm going to adhere my die cut heart background over this magenta cardstock. I'm using glue again for adhering it and making sure that I reach to all those nooks and crannies so my background is laying flat beautifully for a background. I love to use glue for these backgrounds, especially for this technique, is because there is a little bit of wriggling room when you use glue. I put an acrylic block over it as it dries, and for the sentiment I'm using this beautiful Celebrate die by Crafty Meraki, and I will show you a way how you can adhere your little die cuts. When you have your negative and the positive, you can actually adhere both of them together. You can see a little shadow, and that will help you align it properly. And then in the negative, you just put little glue and add your letters. This is an easy way of assembling these small word dies. I chose a white shadow for my Celebrate because I wanted the sentiment to pop up a little more, otherwise it would have just merged with the background. Now it's easy, let us assemble the card. We already have our Petal Poetry flowers ready, and I'm going to add some foam tape beneath the flowers. I also add foam tape under my sentiment, but because now when we adhere our sentiment it will be a little risen, we need a little more height for our sentiment to be straight, so I add a little more foam tape and the second flower underneath it. And what is a floral card without a little shine? I get my Divine Illusion gems and I add a few around the leaves. And here is another quick card. I hope you are like me and love to make some quick cards. Also, I think a beautiful die cut background makes a great impact, and the recipient, especially if they're not a card maker, will think that maybe you did painstakingly cut all the little hearts from the paper with your hand. Wow, I love the way die cutting fools people who are not card makers. Okay, we have so many hearts now. Let's go ahead and make our last card very quick and simple and using all our little hearts that we've saved. So we have done EAP, we have done stamping. Now it's time to show you the beautiful paradise by Crafty Meraki. I'm using this butterfly Luna Paradise. Along with that, I'm going to show you these beautiful A2 shaker pockets by Crafty Meraki, which we're going to utilize for making a shaker card. And also these gorgeous paper collection, these floral papers which are double-sided. This pack is called For the Love of Flowers, but there are many such paper collection. You can have a look at them on the Crafty Meraki website. I'll use the paper from this pack for my background, but before that I'm just going to reinforce the sides of the shaker pockets with the bone folder. These are beautifully pre-cut and they have a very strong adhesive on the sides. What I do is I cut my pattern paper of the size of the acetate and then I slide it in. I'm using this pretty yellow background, and after I insert my paper, I'm going to peel off the sticky sides of the acetate. And before I adhere my pattern paper, which will be inside, I just want to use anti-static tool so that when I add my shaker elements, the shaker elements don't stick. Next, I burnish. I just stick all the 3 sides, leaving one side open to add my shaker elements. And you have guessed it right. What are the shaker elements? Shaker elements are the hearts that we have left from our previous cards. I'm using the white and the pink hearts for this card, and that is the reason I chose this pretty pastely background as well. And we just seal our last side and our shaker part is done. Now, isn't that the easiest way to make a shaker card? And we are using all our little leftover pieces as well. So now to add it on a card front, I am taking a strong double-sided tape and I have a top folding white colored cardstock on which I am going to adhere my shaker panel. On the acetate there is a light polythene film which has to be removed before we use the card, and I actually forgot while sticking my tape. So I remove the little plastic sides and then adhere my double-sided tape, and after removing the film I add my shaker part onto the white colored card base. Now, this is good enough in itself. You can just add a very bold sentiment and it will be done, but I want to use my Luna Meraki Paradise, and I have die cut this beautiful butterfly with a teal colored cardstock, a light yellow colored cardstock. And I'm not going to use the third layer because the third layer is a solid layer of the butterfly, and if I add that, my shaker elements and the pretty pattern paper will not be much visible. So I want to just let the butterfly's wings do the magic. And to add to the magic, I add a little glitter with this Wink of Stella pen. Also, I want my butterfly to be a little sturdy and a little shiny, for which I'm going to do a little clear heat embossing. I add some Versamark ink over my butterfly and heat emboss it with clear embossing powder. This technique will not just give a little shine to my butterfly, but it will also make it a little sturdier. Then I adhere the layers of the butterfly, the light yellow underneath the clear heat embossed teal butterfly wings, and the body of the butterfly. To add it on my acetate sheet, I am going to use a very strong glue and add a little weight over it till it gets stuck properly. And till then I'm going to stamp a beautiful sending hugs on a pink cardstock with black ink, and there are some places where the ink has not stamped well, for which I take a little black marker and fill in all those little gaps. I cut out a strip and foam mount it just underneath my butterfly. I hope you like my beautiful butterfly in pastel colors, utilizing the pretty pattern paper and all our left out hearts. This will be a perfect card for a little girl. I think even I would love it. All the little girls will love it. I hope you enjoyed the videos and all the ideas that I shared. Do not forget to enter in the raffle copter, which is mentioned below in the description, and hop on to the next person to get more ideas and use your supplies more effectively. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day and happy crafting. Bye bye.